Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Daily Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Joining me today, I'm really happy to bring you Lara Smith. She is the national spokesperson for the Liberal Gun Club. We're going to be talking about the Gun Club, Liberal Gun Club, and maybe some other things as we go on. Lara, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, as I said, let's get started with the Liberal Gun Club. That is how I met you. If I remember right, we met, 3 or 4 years ago, first time face to face, with a Firearms Policy Coalition gathering at SHOT Show. And I didn't know of a thing called the Liberal Gun Club. I didn't think there was such a thing, or it was possible for there to be such a thing. What is a Liberal Gun Club? How did it start?
So the Liberal Gun Club started in about 2008. And it started with a group of people who wanted to have a space online that was for people who support the Second Amendment but are left of center. Because, as we know, online can be not the friendliest of places. And so we really wanted it to be a more friendly spot for people who had different political views than kind of the mainstream gun owners. And it really started as a place to talk about the guns you owned and going shooting and going to the range and kind of all the things that most gun owners talk about. And as it developed, and it was a small club for a long time, a couple hundred members, 500 members. And then starting about 2012, 2013, it started to grow a little bit. We started to get some more press. I wasn't a part of it then. And then right about the time of the Pulse nightclub shooting, we started getting a lot of interest, and there were some interviews done. I had joined the club, and we started getting a little bit of interest in the press, so we did some press, and that got the word out more and more. And as the club's grown and developed, we now have several thousand paying members and about 15,000 people who are active through various social media platforms that we use. And as the club has really grown, it's become more political, it's become more diversified in what we do. But what we really want to do is we provide a place for people left of center to have a voice in the national conversation on firearms. And our big focuses are education. And so what we do for education is that we both have certified programs. You can become a Liberal Gun Club instructor, and our instructor programs have been written by some of the top people in the instructor world. We have one written by Grant Cunningham. We use programs that were developed by ICE. We use, for us, these are programs that have been developed for the club. So these are legitimate certifications for people who maybe don't want to use the NRA as their certification, or some of the other groups. So we have that. And then we also have a political side that we're growing more. And that side is that we go and we lobby, especially at the state level. We're very active in Virginia. We're very active in Oregon. We're getting more active in Washington. And we go and we lobby, and I go to California, and we talk to the legislators about why certain bills don't work, what the problems with them are from a liberal perspective, not from, hey, this is the typical Republican talking point. But, to give you an example, I went and talked about a bill on our May issue scheme here for CCWs in California. And I said, hey, do you all realize that the people who are being disenfranchised are not kind of your typical gun owner? It's really the people who are getting impacted most by this are people of color and people in disadvantaged communities who can't jump through all the hoops you guys have created for this. And so that's what we do as a club. And we've grown just a ton. And in the past year, we've had exponential growth. And we're looking forward to doing more work. We're talking with other groups and doing more lobbying and doing more work out there.
One thing I've said for a long time, and you touched on it right there, almost all gun control of any variety hurts for example, the single mom or the low income family that's maybe got 4 or 5 kids, bills are tight. Those are the people it hurts the most. People that are generally on the more liberal side politically are the people it hurts the most.
Yes, for sure. And I think this year you're going to see, we've already seen some shifts in the conversation in the U.S. because so many new gun owners really are people who are more politically left, who either haven't really been engaged in the gun conversation, because a lot of people aren't. I mean, we kind of think of it as that way, but a lot of people aren't. It's not a part of their day-to-day life at all. And so all they're really hearing are kind of either the NRA or Everytown, and they're not seeing kind of what the day-to-day is for gun owners and what these big conversations are. And all of a sudden they went to buy a gun when the pandemic hit, and when we started to see all kinds of reasons that they said, hey, I think I want to learn how to protect myself. And those people now said, oh my God, it's actually really hard to go get a gun. I mean, I can't tell you the number of my friends who said, hey, can you recommend somewhere that I can go buy a shotgun right now? And I would say, no, there's, you can't go get good luck. You're a little late.
Yeah.
I can teach you how to shoot it once you find one, but you have to understand you're going to wait. And even if for some reason you do, hey, we're in California, it's 10 days. If they have something that will work for you, I can tell you where to go normally. I can tell you who to go talk to. I can tell you what shops we recommend because they're friendly to people who aren't hard right. And that's a big issue. I can tell you, we have tons of people who have shops that they won't go shop at because of politics. And that's something that the Second Amendment community needs to do better on. And then we have shops that are great and really inclusive that we love, that we, that think it's great that everybody, they're really inclusive of everybody in the Second Amendment community.
So I would guess then from that last answer that, I mean, worldwide or nationwide, I should say, sales for firearms are through the roof in 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Not 2020 is almost over, but we shattered all records and we had broken them as of October. And so I'm guessing that the interest in your organization this year has exploded as well, because it's people in general that are buying guns, not, again, just old, bald white guys.
Right. Oh, yeah, no, it's a whole new group of people. I mean, the number of people who have called me for training, and I'm high risk, so I've had to be really, really careful about what I've been doing and where I've been able to go. And so, I'm not doing any indoor range time at all. Mm-hmm. So, for me, it's like, yeah, I can train you, but we've got to find a range. We've got to find time. We've got to, you're going to be compliant. The ranges here have been really good. They're complying with the mask requirements and all of that. So it's, hey, we're going to do socially distanced, but the amount of training requests, we literally can't keep up with the number of training requests we've had all over the country, from people who are new gun owners. And so we've done we have a whole YouTube channel that has all of our training videos on it. And we've done everything from, we have a Make It Safe program that's, hey, I've never touched a gun. Maybe I found a gun in my kid's room. Maybe I found my husband's gun. Maybe I found, my gun-owning spouse died and had a loaded gun. I need to know how to unload it. It's that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. We have, and then we have all kinds of fun videos that are like, we have a guy called The Bench Doctor, and it's him trying to put together a Mark III without watching a video, or and all kinds of fun things and taking part. And he did one where he's got all these kind of crazy, rare, weird little guns that he's got. We have a whole section. We've done a whole diversity in firearms. So we did a women's panel, a veterans panel, a women's veterans panel that Amy was part of. We did a disability and firearms panel. So all that's up on our YouTube channel, because even during the pandemic, we can still get information out to people, and we still want to make sure people are getting educated, and especially new gun owners, to learn about all the different things that go into the firearms world. It's not just, hey, can I get an Enigma? Hey, can I get, which is, the new best carry thing.
Right.
By the way, I know Sarah really well. She's a friend of mine. So is John. One of the companies we recommend, by the way.
And just for those who may not know who we're talking about, that's Sarah Kate Hauptman and John Hauptman, the people behind the Enigma, and Filster, I believe, is the name of the company.
It's Filster. Yeah, it's Filster. So, we have all that kind of stuff that we're talking about and all that. But it's not just that. We're trying to get just even basics out to people and new gun owners, but also talking to people about the politics, right? About, hey, we need to talk about how are these laws affecting you? What are your rights? Even things like, who do I call? How do I write my representative? A lot of people have never done that. A lot of people have never reached out politically and tried to do any of that. So we talk about that. We've done some stuff about that. We're going to do we did a lobbying panel. What do we do about lobbying? So you can see all that's all up on our YouTube channel and on our website. And so we've been trying to get all that kind of information out because we really want people who had never really thought about it until this year to have access to kind of the big, wide gun world. It's one thing when it's you or me or people who do this, every day. We kind of forget that when you're new, that's not something you know about.
Right. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a more difficult question, but the Democratic Party has never been... no, I'm not going to say that. The Liberal Democratic Party has more recently gone somewhat anti-gun, to the point where Kamala Harris and Joe Biden made it a part of their website and their platform that they want to do a whole bunch of bad things when it comes to regularly used firearms. I think it's important for people like yourself and the Liberal Gun Club to get involved, and we need to expand your part of Second Amendment advocacy, simply because, let's face it, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, anybody in the leadership in the Democratic Party is not going to listen to Paul Lathrop.
Right.
I'm not going to create wave number one. That's why I think it's so important for people to become more involved in places where the ideology may not be old white guy, it may be something broader.
Right. And it's interesting when you go out and you start talking to people. I mean, we've had pretty good successes at the state level going and talking to people and saying, hey, have you really thought about the ramifications of what this bill means? We had some luck getting some stuff killed in Virginia. We had some luck getting some stuff changed. We really had an impact in Oregon when, I think it was 2 years ago, when they had that crazy slate of anti-gun laws. And we sent lobbyists, and we went and we talked with, it helps that there are a few gun-friendly liberals in states. It's harder to find, but when you can find them and you talk to them, and then they help you get the message out, and then you go talk. We've had some luck in California where we've gone and said, hey, have you really thought about that? What you're talking about doesn't solve the problem you want to talk about. And this is one of the things Liberal Gun Club talks about a lot is we want root cause mitigation. If you ban the gun, you haven't solved the problem, whether it's mental health, whether it's poverty, whether it's an unfair Gini coefficient, which is a wealth index and wealth distribution index. All those things. If all you're talking about is the guns, you're not solving the problems. And so that's what we go and talk to people about. We don't lead. One of the things we say is we don't lead with the gun. We lead with the other issue. What's the other issue here? What are you actually trying to solve? Because just banning the gun, you're not going to solve it.
Well, we've only got a couple minutes left. These are very short. Before we go, I would like to ask you if you would once again just describe what the Liberal Gun Club is, and if somebody's interested in becoming a member, how do they do that?
So we have membership plans from $10 a year to be an actual paid member. You can find out more on our website at www.theliberalgunclub.com. You can see our About Us page, talks about all about what I've just talked about root cause mitigation. You can find out way more about who I am, who the club is, what we do, our instructor programs, our lessons. You can come find out when training is going to be happening. That's been a little bit curtailed, but when are we having our videos? We usually have them Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock East Coast time, but that can vary a little bit. But come find out more about what we're doing. Feel free to find out more about how you can get involved with the group, what kind of training, if you're interested in training, if there's trainers near you, if you just want to talk to somebody in the club, because really liberals like guns and support the Second Amendment, and we are really pro Second Amendment. I'm the Well, you can't buy an attack helicopter. Yes, you can. Well, you shouldn't be able to. You should. I'm that person. So,
That's one point you and I share. My saying, and I've been saying it for years, you ought to be able to buy anything from a 1022 to an F-22.
Exactly. And if you have enough money, you almost can. What you can't get are the avionics.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Laura, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. We are out of time. Folks, if you would, please go ahead and subscribe. When you do, hit the notification bell so you know when we release a new video, and we will be doing that tomorrow. See you then.